Yeah.
All right. Chairman is having technical difficulties. You notice that's why you guys always notice I always have both iPads. You know, it's because I'm challenged. Yeah, yeah, and yours and my phone. And if you guys wonder what it looks like when I'm flying the airplane, this is it. I love redundancy. All right, we'll call the meeting to order. And Becky, would you call the roll?
I sure will. Jim Sheeline.
Here.
Mike Book. Tom Kitson.
Mike will be on, he's on
Mike's
Zoom.
on Zoom. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm here.
Larry
I'm here.
Mimini.
Here.
Tim Bivens.
Here.
Nancy Naylor.
Present.
Thank you.
All right, everybody take care of their cell phones if you would, please. In fact, Chairman better look at his, yes. All right. Go around the room. Charlie, do you got anything for us outside the agenda?
No, sir.
Like to
Thanks,
talk
sir.
about? All right, Paul,
No, nothing outside the agenda.
Breeden.
Nothing outside the agenda.
All right, Jeffrey.
Yes, sir. Just wanted to mention to you guys,
Did I miss Dave? Oh,
He was leaning
well, it was, wait a minute, Jeff.
leaning into the mic.
You know, sometimes you get these trees that get in the way. I'm not saying anything, Clay, but you know what? Sorry, Jeff. Dave, do you have anything for us?
No, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I apologize for skipping you. Jeffrey, go ahead.
just wanted to bring it to the attention of the Finance Committee that I've purchased some scraper mats for the front doors and kind of in anticipation of the Aramark move. And so I put that into my supply line budget, so that's kind of blown that budget. We should recoup that soon, but it's maybe not totally by the end of the year, so there may be adjustment needed on that.
All right. Jeff did make me aware of this and we informed him and he's talked to Paul. So it'll be something we'll take a look at as we get closer to the year end. But there's probably going to be, we'll be able to maneuver things around. So.
But it did eat into pretty much his supply line values, so we'll have to take a look at that later in the year.
Okay. Thanks, Jeff, for letting us know. So anybody have any questions on that, Jeff? Okay. Dean? All right. Clay?
This is just an informational for the Finance Committee. During the capital request for FY24 budget year, I had submitted a request for 8 tactical ballistic vests for our Joint Operations Group operators. Their current vests were expired by 2 years, and basically for everybody's knowledge, the lifetime of a ballistic vest is about 5 years. So their current vests were 7 years old. At that time, there was a lot of flux with FOP negotiations looming, so we were trying to be conservative. The quote provided at the time was $3,194.94 for each vest, for a total of over $25,000. The members of the JOG team from the Dixon Police Department recently purchased their vests, were able to get them at a reduced price. They eliminated some components and were able to get a discounted rate. But since we are part of that team with Dixon, the vendor Strikers was going to honor that discounted price for us. So I met with Chairman Sheeline and Treasurer Rodolfi, and I have enough money in the administrative impound fee, AKA tow fund, to cover the purchase. So essentially, we're going to save the county about 10 grand.
Clay, just,
Go ahead, Tom.
what happens to the old ones? They just go in the landfill, or is there any value to them at all, or?
We store them, you know, in the event that.
So we need storage? No. Okay, I didn't know if there was any value to them to some secondary market or something. I'm just curious.
You could probably send them to Ukraine or something, but.
No, I mean, I didn't know if somebody could reuse part of it or do something.
No, well, I mean, then these
Okay.
ballistic companies would be out of business. I think it's a kind of a marketing ploy anyway for, you know, them to put a life expectancy of 5 years.
But we don't want to be the ones to find out that.
Exactly. You don't want to be that blue canary.
So is it the webbing or is it it's the ballistic
They're
panels?
saying that the webbing, yeah, the interloggings of the Teflon or whatever, they say that deteriorates over time. through perspiration, getting on it through the elements, UV rays is what they say.
Yeah, interesting. So you just wouldn't think that, because they don't get used all that much. I mean,
The heavy ones-
how many times do you pull
Well, like the heavy ones for the jog operators, they're thicker, better rating than the normal everyday wear ones. They train once a month, so they get donned on those situations.
Oh, so they do get used
They get you
roughly once a month?
roughly
or,
once
you
a
know.
month, or if there was a situation that arose,
Sure.
like out at the Magnuson last month or 2 months ago. So
Okay. All right, very good. Thanks for the info. Any other questions for Clay? All right, King. Michael.
No, sir, I don't have.
Yeah, we can see him.
Point well taken.
Patty, Sarah, Amy, Nance? No. All right, thank you, everybody. All right, everybody had a chance, committee had a chance to take a look at the minutes. Any additions or corrections from last month's minutes? I want to thank, while we're doing that, I want to thank Tom Kitson for covering for Mike and I, since we were otherwise occupied. So, and while Tim actually had a better excuse than Mike and I were off gallivanting around and Tim was sick. So, anyway, any additions, corrections? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes. Moved by Naylor, second by Bivens. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Treasurer's monthly financial report.
All right, so really everything is, we're just 2 months in. Everything is kind of going on par with what we had expected. I guess there's just a couple of things I wanted to point out today. The first one being in the revenues tab that you guys would have gotten, the personal property replacement tax. As we had planned, because we got notification from the state last year, it has dropped significantly. It's probably even going to be more than the 30% that they had given us warning for. So that will be a challenge for the year, will be that one particular line item. One of the other things that I wanted to point out was the landfill information. We got our first quarter, if you will, payment. And if you look at that, the tonnage through December, or in the month of December, was probably the lowest it's been in over 4 years. And then obviously the revenue goes down with that. I know in the past we've had some discussions with the people running the landfill about why is the tonnage going down. I thought maybe I should bring that to your attention, such that, maybe if we need to make another phone call, that seems to be a problem. The only other thing I would kind of point out is, and Reed can speak to this if he needs to, he's reached out to the banks to kind of ask them to look into all of the accounts in terms of, how are they servicing the county, what they're doing for interest rates, things of that nature, and can they meet or beat what we currently get with one of the locals that is very good to us. Not that we would move, but we do have bank accounts in other banks here in the county. Some of them are only getting 0.02% on interest. Our main bank gives us a little over 4, almost 5% on a money market account. And if you look at your capital sheet that I gave you, revenues of $65,698 year to date is all interest. So, I mean, it's a significant amount. If you're just looking at a $200,000 balance, 4% versus 0.02 is a difference of $20,000 over the year. So, we're trying to make sure that in this day and age with higher interest rates, that everybody's playing fair and getting us the interest and revenue. Let's make our money work for us. So,
Absolutely. The days of not worrying about, because everybody was, less than 1%.
Oh, absolutely.
On the money. It's a
Absolutely.
different age.
But we still actually have some banks that are at that level, just on a money market or checking account. And we feel like they should be able to bump that up.
Yeah.
So.
Good.
Reed's done a nice job reaching out to everybody and he's got some appointments with them to see what they can do.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any questions for Paul? Reed? All right. We'll look forward to the quarterly report and see where things are lining up.
Sure.
So. All right. Insurance committee report. Nancy.
The insurance committee met last week, department heads and Tom Kitson and myself. We had a PowerPoint presentation by our pool lady, Angie, and she let us know that by the end of February, our renewal will come through and that we're about 3.7% increase, which was less than we expected. I think we were expecting about 5. So that's good news. It was due to some drops and some claims and things like that, and also the other municipalities that are in our pool. We also had a nice report from Sarah Leisner. They had a wellness committee meeting, and I asked Sarah if she would share that with the group today because they were doing some things I thought everybody should know about. So, Sarah?
Good morning. So Tracy Bay from the Health Department and I are co-chairs for the Wellness Committee. So we've had a couple meetings that we brought the Insurance Committee up to date on. We had the biometrics back in October. We had about 88%, 89% participation, which is wonderful. We're always shooting for over 75% so that we can achieve that highest wellness package. So when we get that award back, it's the highest award possible. We also did a donation drive for PADS Homeless Shelter before Christmas. And we dropped those donations off in December. We filled up a full back end of a full-size SUV, plus any other spot we could shove donations, and dropped all that off at PADS. So they were super thankful for that. If you are on Facebook, they did have a post on there thanking us for our donations. The Wellness Committee is also working on a policy for requests. In the past, the Wellness Committee has received requests for different wellness-related items for departments or employees, and there was never really a policy. So the committee had talked about this, about maybe setting up some guidelines because there was no form, there was no policy as to how much we should give out. And that's so we worked on that. We finalized that and presented that at the Insurance Committee. So as far as guidelines, we're just looking at making sure that if an employee is requesting something for themselves, if they wanted like a sit-to-stand desk, for example, that their department head is aware that they made that request, and does the department have any funds to either pay for a portion of that or cannot pay for any of that. So that was kind of a concern of the committee, as well as just making sure whatever funds that are used by the Wellness Committee stay in Lee County, stay in those offices and are used. It's not something that an employee or a department can take home and use, or if the employee leaves, they can't take that with them, that it stays at the county for somebody else to use. And then we do have a request form, which covers all of that and asks for just a copy of the estimate for the item or items that the department is requesting. So with our Wellness Committee, the funds that we get from IPBC could vary year by year, depending upon our participation, employee participation in biometrics and other events, as well as what package we qualify for. So the committee voted to review our financials every year in December, and then determine what we'll offer for that following calendar year. So for 2024, the committee voted to offer a total of $2,000 for wellness requests, $200 maximum request per department employee per that single request. And I believe that's it for that. And another item that we're working on for the Wellness Committee is a couple lunch and learns. We have one scheduled for March 6th around nutrition and physical activity. Tracy and I are working with KSB to get that planned, and information will go out to employees next week on that. And then we're working on another one in May. Since it's Mental Health Awareness Month, we're looking for a social worker to come speak about mental health awareness. And once we get that together, then we will send that information out to the employees. We have a Wellness Committee meeting on Tuesday, the 20th, at the Health Department first floor conference room, 2 o'clock. So if anybody would like to join, you're welcome to join us. Or if you have anybody from your department that would like to join, we're always looking for new members. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate that. I have nothing else unless anyone has questions. We have a meeting in 2 more months for our next meeting. So that concludes my report.
Thank you, Nancy. Any questions? Very good. Moving on to Gredco. Liren, do we have anything from Gredco?
Yeah, there are a bunch of things moving with Gretco, but what pertains to us will be notified from Tom Demmer at our monthly meeting, I believe. And the Gretco board, I know, I don't want to make this, but they're
Tom's coming for the regular
Yeah.
county board meeting?
Yeah,
Super.
they're
Good deal.
very happy with them too, even though,
Yep. Yeah, I've heard rumblings. It sounds exciting. So I'll be looking forward to Tom's update. So,
that's it.
all right. Thanks, Liren. All right. Administrator report. Jeremy.
Yeah, just jumping on what Liren was actually speaking on. So there's a handful of potential developments going on in Lee County by Rochelle in that kind of corridor that the county is going to have to get a little bit more involved in some conversations with, specifically financially and logistically. So I think that, we'll have to, as that comes to light a little bit further, we'll be able to speak more on that and what that looks like and what the county is going to need to be involved with financially and or, from a labor perspective in any sort of way, or the highway department, Dave's going to have to be involved in some of those conversations as well. Because most of this is in the, around Stewart Road or, Stewart area. So, it's a project or projects that has been, worked on for quite some time between LCIDA and Gredco and the county and Rochelle. So pretty exciting things, and hopefully we'll get some more information on that we could bring out to the public here soon. Another thing that is coming up, we county board had, adopted our social media policy in lieu of creating a county general Facebook account. With that, we were in need of having a media retention piece of that was in that policy, and the need to actually have those services. Our own IT department does not have those capabilities, so I've been working with other companies to see what type of services they have. Civic Plus, who does our website and we're in contract with, actually has a fantastic social media archiving and media archiving service. They purchased a company called Archive Social back in 2021, and it integrates with our website and media platforms specifically. And any type of website, whether it's the county website, the health department's website, or even, social media platforms that any of the departments have, will all get connected to that. And, we'll archive every piece of data in real time for, public interest or FOIA requests or anything like that. There's a cost to that, that we haven't previously budgeted for. So talking with Chairman Sheeline and trying to understand where we might be able to put that. And right now I'm waiting for, IT Director Korski to give me back some of his budget line items and things that he had in there for his requests early on to see if we could put that in somewhere in the IT department. And I'm sure he's not going to be excited about that. But, so it's $6,800 roughly for the first year, which is about 25% off of what the yearly cost would be. There's no contract. It's $8,500 a year, but it's unlimited data, unlimited connections to, websites, social media platforms, whatever that may be. We could have 1,000 and it would, they'd still cover it. So something that we're heavily looking into, and, as we continue to move forward and making sure that we're being accountable to the public, that we have something in place for that.
So Jeremy, on the FOI piece, if there's an FOI request, they would contact you or
So-
you and you'd go, okay, here's the request, and they would pull, how does that work?
So actually with if we go in this direction, which was really intriguing to me with Civic Plus, was that on our website, they will actually have a search bar that they could just type in whatever they're looking for and it'll pull through that archive themselves.
Oh, okay.
So they could do, the public will have access to that. So
So
anything.
this will help with transparency.
Completely.
Yeah.
Completely. You know, and if there is a scenario where they contacted department directly, those departments will have access to do the same thing. But from a public standpoint, they're able to go on our website, they would type in, you know, I'm looking for a keyword, you know, dog, you know, or let's just say, and it would pop up anything that was related to dogs, from any website posting, any social media posting, any archiving, and then they could look through it in that direction. So it'll definitely create a more transparent approach to any of our media applications. Because we can't rely on, you know, the social media companies to archive correctly. I mean, if Facebook decided to shut down, they're not going to, but if they decided to just close it off, any history we had is gone. So then we're accountable for that.
Okay. Very good. Anything else? Nope.
No, sir.
Any questions for Jeremy? Okay, we'll move along. ARPA, we're not at the quarterly, so you don't have a report for us, Sarah, Patty? Okay. In April, very good. Thank you. And no Joseph Meyer resolutions? Nancy, I don't see any. Okay, on to no unfinished business. We have on no business agreement for county engineer's salary. Everybody have a chance to go through that? Any questions for Jeremy or Dave? Any comments you want to make, Dave? Okay. Jeremy, any comments on contract?
No, you know, this, the contract is something that comes up every 6 years. Is that right, Dave?
Correct. Correct. The appointments are for 6 years. The agreement that you're talking about is agreement between the county and IDOT for its county engineer salary program, whereby I'll simplify it because there's a money shuffle that goes on, but I'll simplify it down to essentially half the salary comes out of MFT, half out of federal fund allotments.
Right. And for everybody's to make aware, you know, the county engineer's salary regionally and across the state is traditionally has been much higher than what we've paid or gone into a contract with our county engineer. So this was really important for the county to make sure that we have a correction on what this looks like and then have a great process moving forward. But, you know, Dave is a phenomenal asset and value to our county. And, you know, we want to make sure that that's being shown appropriately.
All right. Any other further discussion? I entertain motion to move this to executive. Moved by Bivens, seconded by Kitson. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carried. Okay, and so this is two parts of a three-part system. I think there's actually three pieces of this. But then the next thing is the resolution for the salary of the county engineer. So that just codifies the agreement that we just moved. So any questions on the resolution? Okay, any comments, Jeremy? Charlie, on the resolution? Okay, hearing none, entertain motion to move this to executive. Moved by Naylor, seconded by Kitson. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. All right, then we're down to C, ordinance amending administrator impound fee. Clay, do you want to have any comments on that?
We're just looking to stay up with the times. The administrative impound fee was at $250. We're looking to increase it $100 to $350. Currently, as a comparative analysis, the city of Dixon's is at $300. where Ogle County Sheriff's Department and Rochelle Police Departments are at $500. So since got a greater area, a number of tow companies to go out to and assist them with getting rid of some of these vehicles that people don't come back and pick up, we can see the need to increase that fee.
Okay. Any questions for the sheriff? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to move this to executive, moved by Bivens, seconded by Kitson. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Thank you, Mike. Yeah, go ahead.
Just a comment. It was brought up at the meetings Tuesday, and we want to make sure we bring it up today that on the 20th and the 27th, there'll be ZBA hearings here for the solar plan that's over in Rochelle area. It's been advertised highly in the newspaper, I shouldn't say advertised, but it's been in news media. And if you have disagreements, if you have concerns, the place to come is those hearings, not wait till we have a board meeting. So we want to make sure everybody's aware that if you have concerns, want to ask questions, please come to those ZBA hearings. I know we've said it before, but Alice asked that and it was brought up by Jack Scrogstad at Tuesday's meetings that we just want everybody to be aware the time to come is to those meetings. It'll be 6 o'clock on those 2 days.
Very good.
27, you said? 20 and 27?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Jeremy, on the board action request form, that's really more information. That's not an action. We already took care of that.
Yeah, the ordinance was the action.
Good, very good. All right, so we don't have to worry about that. And that brings us down to executive session. So I'll entertain a motion going to executive session for the purposes of purchase of property, 5 ILCS 120-2C5. All moved by Kitson, seconded by Naylor. All those in favor signify. I got it.
Nope.
Yep, that roll call. Thank you. Nancy was putting the brakes on me, Becky.
Thanks, Nancy. Jim Sheeline,
Yes.
Mike Book,
Yes.
Tom Kitson,
Yes.
Larry Memini,
Yes.
Tim Bivens.
Yes.
Nancy Naylor.
Yes.